Hey guys, I just want to get on here and share something really quick. I have a few minutes before my next call, and God has just wrecked me this morning. And so I thought, it's something I'll share later, but I feel like I need to share it now. So if you're watching, maybe this is for you. So yesterday, as you all know, I was getting together the G-tube supplies. So last week, it came up on our memories that Zion had his G-tube surgery. And so, I had that box in my living room, still sitting in the box, all the G-tube supplies that we had purchased because our insurance, if you're one of our personal friends last year, we were trying to figure out how to just come up with the money that they needed for the supplies to get us home. So that stuff, even with insurance, is not cheap. And so we wanted families to get them that could use them. And then we had a mom step up, and she ended up, she has a son that has Down syndrome, and she was a pediatric nurse for 30 years. And she said, I know some moms can't even afford shipping. And so she said, I just want to be able to do a random act of kindness in honor of Zion and pay for the shipping. And so it was like the way that it all worked out. And within 24 hours, every single item that we had was spoken for. And, I shared already on the page, like how the other moms looked out for others. They weren't like just saying, I'll take everything and wanting to hoard the supplies. Like they were looking out for other moms and just getting what they needed for their child. And so the whole thing has been amazing. But last night, I had a couple people who had claimed some things, and I hadn't got an address or an email. So I needed an email to send the tracking information, so that way, they could see that it was on the way, and an address to mail it to. And so I sent out a couple emails saying, hey, I really need the address. I'm trying to get this out because I work during the week. And one mom messaged me back, and she said, I'm going to have to pass. I'm dealing with homelessness right now, and so I don't really have an address for you to mail it to, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to eat tonight. And she didn't ask me for anything. She just graciously passed on the supplies that she was asking for. And so I sat there and I was pondering it, and I'm like, man, it's so easy for any of us to just get in that situation. A lot of the times I've seen things that saying, you're one paycheck away from hard times. And we know, about that because I've shared how through this journey, I lost my job. Just our whole life was interrupted. I ran out of FMLA, and so, we didn't know how it was all going to work out. And so, even though Josh and I have good jobs, we have bills as well. And so since we've been in the NICU and had a cardiac ICU stay, and then 5 open heart surgeries, which the one I couldn't even tell you like the total amount of what things costed us as far as his stay. But I know when I looked at the one open heart surgery, it was like $3 million. And I believe I had added up his 40-day NICU stay, and it was right at $1 million. So, I mean, it's crazy. And insurance caps you at a certain amount, and you still have all these other things that aren't covered that you end up having to pay for that's not part of your insurance plan. And so it's like it's constant back and forth. And so, and Josh and I've had hard times before. I've shared that too, how, when we were 18 months without a job, and, this was back when Josiah was born, and I had decided to stay home with him, and how God provided. So anyways, going back to this story with the mom, I started asking questions, and I was asking, so how many kids do you have? And she shared with me that she has 3 children. She's pregnant with 2, but her children are currently in foster care because she doesn't have a stable home. Like, she doesn't have a place to live. And so she's got to get on her feet before they allow her children to come back. And, we work, and Josh is a clinical director for a group foster home. And so like we know some of the situations or whatever. So I, start thinking in my fleshly mind that, well, she has access to food stamps. She should have access to WIC. She's pregnant. There's services available for people with low income and things like that. And so I started, I actually sent her a message like, well, don't you have food stamps, or, what'd you do with your WIC? And she said that, she had transportation. Now, not one time did she ask me for anything. I was just trying to think of services that maybe if she didn't know about, that could help her, too. And in my head, I was rationalizing, I felt like God told me to give her money for a meal, but I was trying to make excuses for that. And I know obedience is so hard sometimes, especially when you're like, well, someone needs to do their part, and God does require us to do our part. But you start thinking about all the things that, well, they could do this, or how do they end up in that? And, instead of doing what God tells you to do, you start thinking of reasons why you don't need to do that. So I actually went on her Facebook page, and just was checking out who she was, and some things were public, some things weren't. We're not Facebook friends or anything like that. And when I was scrolling down her Facebook page, let me just crop out her a screenshotted this to be able to show you guys, but I don't want to reveal her name or anything like that. So there was a post, and it had $3.33. Okay. It says, don't skip, you will have money tomorrow. $3.33. It was a total, the balance was that. Now, if you know anything about Zion's story, when I was pregnant, every single night, I woke up at 3:33, to the point to where I was like, okay, God, what are you trying to get my attention with here with this 3:33? And, so I woke up one morning, put it in my journal like 3:33. I didn't really realize what he was saying. I know one time when he went back for his 5th open heart surgery, there was a thing with the machines beeping and beeping and beeping and beeping. It was going dun, 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 dun. And we actually took a video, and you can see the light flickering with the beeps. And when he was back in surgery, I said, Josh, you remember I was up at 3:33 every night when I was pregnant? I didn't know what 3:33 meant. I said, it's like that 3:33. So 3:33 to us, had to go all the way back to when I was pregnant. And that, the beeping noise for that last surgery that he had. And to me at the time, I thought that was God telling me he's gonna be okay. Everything's going to be all right. I've prepared you for this the whole time. Like, you don't even know, but I have been preparing you your entire pregnancy. And I'm reminding you through the beep, 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 beep of the machines. And so, a lot of times when people have children who pass away, they have numbers like, that the time that they were born, the time that they passed, different numbers that mean something to them as like a sign. And, so anyways, when I saw this 3:33, it was $3.33, it caught my attention, and it was almost like something telling me like, okay, yes, like you should give her money to be able to get something to eat. And I just pushed it away. I laid down, went to bed, and got up thinking about her. And so I had sent her a message, and I said, hey, did you get anything to eat? And she said, no. She said, I haven't eaten in 3 days. And I'm like, how are you pregnant and you haven't eaten in 3 days? And so, there's so many things that are not legit in this world that you sometimes don't know, like whether you should trust people or you shouldn't trust people. But I said, do you have Venmo? And she said, no. She said, I have Cash App. And I said, okay. I said, I'm going to send you money for a meal. And I sent her $25. Okay. $25 is not a lot of money, but I felt like I needed to send her $25 because that was enough money for her to get a meal, and if she didn't have transportation, to get it delivered. and it wouldn't be for anything else, just for a meal for her to have for that night. And I sent her $25, and I had sent her a message saying, I don't normally do this. You know, I don't give people I don't owe money, unless there's, you know, unless God tells me to. But I feel like I need to give you $25, and please use it for food, because that's what I'm giving it to you for. And then she sent me, as like a couple minutes later, she sent me a thing of her order, of what she ordered with her $25 from DoorDash, and with delivery and everything, and what it costed, that she used her money for that. And so anyways, I went to bed. I didn't think a whole lot of it. And this morning I got up and I was working, and I was in between calls, and I went on. One of the things that I have to do is check to see where we are with the hospital payments, because I have for an entire year, have been working with insurance and the hospital, and you know, with the millions of dollars of medical expenses. I mean, Zion, he was in NICU for 40 days. He had a G-tube surgery. We were in cardiac ICU for 10 days in between the two. And then we were in the hospital for 3 weeks, but he, you know, he had 5 open heart surgeries in the matter of the 12 days. And then we were in there, you know, after that, until he passed away. And I didn't realize, and going back to the 333, I didn't realize till a couple months after Zion had passed away on October the 8th. He was born June the 15th. He passed away October the 8th. I started counting it up one day on a calendar. Zion lived 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. He lived 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days, 333. And while I thought that last surgery, that God was preparing me, like, you know, Zion was going to be fine. Zion was fine. He ended up being better than I am right now. But, you know, God knows our ending from our beginning. And I think even as I was pregnant, looking back, hindsight's 2020, you know, the 333. And so that's what it means to me. And, you know, seeing that 333 on her page that she had posted, and it was a couple posts back, it wasn't even recent, but it was like a nudge that I needed to be obedient. And even when I wasn't, you know, I tried to qualify this lady in my own means. And then, you know, God had to wake me up and say, no, this is what I told you to do. Like, you need to listen. So he put her back on my heart and woke me up. So I get up this morning and I'm looking, because we have had a mountain of bills. We've had, you know, it was $188,000 that we were supposed to pay out of pocket. And I've been going back and forth with insurance, line item by line item. I feel like I know these girls in the billing office, resubmitting stuff to insurance coming back saying they'll cover this part, but they won't cover this part. Making sure that every line is billed right. And so I get on this morning and I thought, you know, I've got to pay my bill, and I need to see where we are and everything. And we had negotiated that $188,000 all the way down to $25,000, as far as like once we rebuild and the insurance covered, and we had to get explanations and all this stuff, down to $25,000. And I got up this morning, I logged onto my account, and it said $0. So I had just told the lady last night, I said, you know, we don't have a lot of money. We're swimming in medical bills. I'm still dealing with all of that right now, and everything else. And, you know, if you know Josh and I, you know, we're givers. We give till it hurts. But it said $0. And I was like, there must be a glitch in the system. It's Monday, you know. So I called the lady and I said, hey, I think that there's a mistake on my account. I think that there's a mistake, because I logged on this morning and it says that I don't owe anything. I don't have to, you know, when you owe a big amount, they'll negotiate payments, but then, you know, it's not just like one lump sum to the hospital. It's like this doctor, this fee, this room and board. And so it's like everybody wants a piece of their pie. And so you add all that up, it's like huge. And so she looked at it and she was like, no. She said, we actually went back, and when we rebuilt one of the things, they had found that they did something, and they had built something incorrectly, and so it was a fault of theirs, and so the bill was $0. Like, my account has been wiped clean, like millions of dollars. And then, you know, right after Zion passed, and it was like $188,000, and I was like, how are we going to do that? You know, like, how do parents do it here? I lost my child, and I have these medical bills, and I don't know how they're ever going to get paid. And it was a mountain. It's been a mountain, and we've negotiated this mountain down and done our due diligence. But last night I sowed a seed. I sowed a seed of $25 into this lady's life that I don't even know, because God told me to do it through not his audible voice, but through the different things that he has showed me over time and putting her on my heart and on my mind. And I got up and was obedient. And in less than a few hours, like, he took that $25 seed that is nothing to us. I mean, we'll go up to McDonald's and 2 meals is $25 now. And to help somebody, and he multiplied that. He multiplied that to $25,000, wiped our slate clean this morning, and moved that mountain that was ahead of us. And I just can't. I mean, God has wrecked me today. Like, I've just been an emotional basket case. But I wanted to share this, and I wanted to tell you that if God tells you to do something, if God's putting somebody on your heart, if he's, you know, speaking to you in different ways, you know, he speaks through different ways, you know, do it. Be obedient. And his blessings, you can't outgive God. You cannot outgive God. Like, his blessings are just, you can't even describe. He knows what you need, and he will bless you in abundance when you are obedient to what he has you do. And, you know, I just shared Jesus with her and gave her $25, you know, like the widow with her mite. It wasn't a lot to people, but it was a lot to God. And I believe God saw my heart last night and my heart to help her. And I told her she's created for more. She's created for more, not to live and be homeless and not be able to take care of her children. Like, you're created for more. And, you know, I don't know what will happen, but, you know, it's not my job to make that seed grow. It's my job to plant that seed as a believer and to show people the Jesus that I talk about. It's not just about saying, I'll pray for you and I'll keep you in my prayers. That's what people say, and then they don't even think about you again. And then there's people that are actually doers, and we are called to be doers. And sometimes the only Jesus that people will know is the people that you show them. And so I encourage you today to do what God tells you to do. Do what God lays in your heart to do for other people, and to not qualify them. You know, God's ways are not our ways. I don't know this lady's ending of her story, but God knows. And maybe it was just for me to plant a seed in her life. And, you know, I pray that God waters it and that it will grow. But I did what I was supposed to do and gave her a meal. She was hungry, and I was able to provide her a meal. And even though it wasn't a lot, you know, God took it and he blessed it. You can't go wrong when you give to God. You can't go wrong. And when you sow seeds into people's lives, and even though I tried to rationalize it in my head, and I tried to say, well, she has food stamps, or well, she should have WIC, or well, you know, how did she get in that situation? You think those things, but that's not my job. My job is to just love. I gotta love people, and I showed her love last night, and because of that, God blessed me. And you know, it doesn't always turn around like that. You know, sometimes you're just sowing seeds and sowing seeds and sowing seeds and sowing seeds. But when you need something, when you have a real need, we had a mountain that we couldn't move. I've done everything in my power. I've worked, you know, with the insurance. I've made all these calls, and I couldn't do it within my own power. And that's when God steps in, and he stepped in on our behalf. And he took that $25 seed and he turned it into a $25,000 blessing. And I believe he can do the same for you. Love you guys. Hope you're encouraged by this today.